Hi guys, it's Luton here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at some capture the flag tactics and techniques. Now, some of you may or may not know, but I played World of Warcraft for many years, like 4.5, maybe even 5 years, so I played it a long time. And in that time, one of the things that I did with a lot of the guys I played with was PvP. We had a strong element of competitive play, and I played Warsong Gulch, which is capture the flag, endlessly for year or more, you know, constantly playing every day, 8 hours a day or more. So I played a lot of this kind of gameplay. It's another reason why as well, when we're doing kind of conquest based stuff, some of the game modes there, I kind of took the tactics. It's probably one of the reasons why I kind of focus on that stuff more now, because when I was doing this kind of stuff, I was often commanding a group of 10 to 15 people or more when we were doing the larger stuff. So I was often, you know, in charge and organising, saying to people, okay, go left, go right, we need you back here, we need you up there, come back, go forward, whatever. So there was a lot of that involved. With Capture the Flag, because it's a game mode that in FPS generally, unless you're looking at proper competitive players, public players I find tend to not have so much about them in terms of understanding the game mode. That doesn't mean to say that of course people don't have those abilities, not at all. It just means that for the most part I find that people, it's a little bit more chaotic than sort of Rush and some of those other game modes which people are a little bit more familiar with, and so for that reason I thought it would be good to take a look at this and give some people a breakdown. It might give people some ideas about the kind of things that they can do in game. Also, I decided to go with this Warsong Gulch background from World of Warcraft just because it's a classic for me and I thought it'd be a little bit more fun, but the tactics are exactly the same. All we're looking at, okay, is down here we've got one base, alright, and I'm going with my kind of, and up here we've got another. Now I'm going with my kind of graphic table sort of technique that I've used before for talking about tactics, so I can show you guys positions that we can move around. What an amazing arrow that was. You can see why I'm a professional illustrator, can't you? Okay, so first of all, strong attack. Okay, now strong attack is where you want to kind of overcome the enemy base and all the surrounding area, but it also means that you want to leave some people in defense. So let's say we're working with a team of 10 people. That's the best kind of number to work with because it's very easy to break down kind of percentage wise. So let's say we're working with a team of 10. Alright, now in a strong attack situation, what you're probably going to want to do is leave like 2 people, so you leave 20% back here, and then you're going to want to send the other 80% up to their base, and you're probably going to want to go straight up and then split, not like that, split your force going into 2 positions like that. Alright, and then what they're going to want to do is try and get into the base from 2 separate places, alright, cap that flag and then bring it back by whatever means necessary. The idea being, alright, that you're basically going to overcome the enemy base. Now the enemy, again, it depends on what they're doing. Are they going to have a strong defense? And this is when you very first start the round, it might often be worthwhile balancing your team just to begin with, but let's first just talk about this strong attack. So the idea is to send out a large amount of force so that you can overcome this area here, alright, and then bring it back as quickly as possible in the most direct route possible, again probably taking bikes or helicopter, whatever it is that you want to use. Now the enemy force, they're going to be sending out people too, of course. Alright, now are they going to leave only a small contingent in their base, or are they going to send a huge bulk of people to like overwhelm this base? Now if they do that, the guys here are going to have a very difficult time. Let's say that we both go with a strong attack first, alright? So we send a huge force up here and they send a huge force back to us. Now effectively what you're going to be doing is trading bases. But the guys back at the base over here have got a very important role to play. I'm going to make my arrow a little bit smaller. They've got a very, that's better, important role to play, because what they're going to have to do is stall for time. They're probably not going to be able to defend against a force this size, but what they do need to do is stall for time, and you're going to be able to do that with mines, claymores, C4, all these kind of things that you can create problems with. It also is going to depend on how you set yourself up as well. These guys down here at our base, they're going to want to set themselves in positions where they can see the flag easily, they can clear people off of it, and generally, you know, they're going to cause as much of a problem as they can. Their equipment choice is also going to be important. If this attacking force, for example, has brought motorbikes, so we've got 2 bikes with us. Oh, they seem to be cloning. They got 2 bikes with us, alright? That's going to give them a very, very fast route back. So having potentially one guy set up with like a javelin or something like that might be worthwhile to do. So let's clear the board. Now the idea as well, when they are delaying, let's say these guys get taken out, but they've stalled for time, alright? And the yellows now have got our flag, and they're going to want to bring this back. Now our team have also capped the enemy flag up in this base, and they're going to want to bring that back as well. But the idea is that we have stalled for time over here. We've cleared these guys out much more successfully, and they're going to be coming back. So the idea is that our guys will perhaps already be part of the way back by the time that the yellows are actually starting to leave the base. And with this in mind, because we had a larger force, remember we sent out a large force, 80% of our team, alright? Now the idea that when they're on the way back, don't just stay with the flag, spread out a bit, because the chances are the yellows, we don't know which way they're going to go. They're going to go here, here, they're going to go down the middle, you don't know. So on the way back again, send with the flag maybe like a small team, alright, a couple of team. Everybody else, remember we have a team of 8 guys out here, so we've got 3 here. We're going to have another maybe 2 go one way and maybe another 3 or whatever, alright, send 6. So no, that's 9 people, can't count, alright, so we're going to have to split our teams like this, but it could be however you want to divvy it up. The important thing is that you want to spread the line, alright, so that when these guys come back, whichever way they go, they're going to run into us. And that's really what you want the situation to be, so that you can then eliminate them on the way back. So let's say our flag guys go this way, and alright, these guys right here, surround them, take them out, and then our flag is going to come straight back onto the base. Right, let's clear the board. So the basic premise of having a strong attack is that you will move forward, you'll leave a few people to delay and take it out. Now that kind of leads on to another way of thing, which is the all-out sweep and clear, which is a very similar kind of tactic, but basically you don't leave anyone in the base. The idea here is that we already know that they have a very strong defense, alright? So they have multiple people all up here, all around these positions, alright? So they've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so they've got all of their team in their base. They've set up a kind of cross line. Now in that kind of situation, that's something very difficult for us. This kind of thing can encounter when you're against a team, maybe they have scored 1 flag already, okay, so maybe they've got 1 cap and we have got nothing, alright. In that kind of situation, you might find that people actually defend. They don't want to push out too hard, they might send only 1 person out. Now in that kind of place, what we're going to do is a sweep and clear. This is a very similar one to the strong attack where you literally try to overcome. The premise here is to send everyone, alright, and you stay together in one big force and literally smash the enemy to pieces. So the idea is you come up here, one big force, obviously get into the base, clear that, and then start your way back. The difficulty with this is when they see you coming, alright, they're going to see, wow, they've got like pretty much all their players out on the field, and this is what we would do as well. If they see this, one of these guys over here on the outskirts, he might be thinking, hey, they're sending a lot of people, I'm going to go for the stealth attack. So he runs down here very quickly to cap our flag while we're all busy up here. And again, in that situation, when you're coming back, say we have our flag, spread out. That's the other key thing, spread out. So when we're coming back, 1, 2, 3, we want to spread out so that we can create a line, so that when this guy is coming back, he's got nowhere to go, all right? He's coming back again, he wants to come back here, he can't, because we've covered him, blocked him off, all right? So again, controlling the area, controlling the map is really, really important. So those are kind of the 2 most basic things really, okay? They're nothing special. They are literally just you send everyone or whatever, okay? It's not rocket science, but the idea, the most important thing is to remember to spread out. If you go just one route, then what you're going to end up in a situation, if you don't cover that line on the way back and spread your guys out so you have 3 sort of forces covering the whole area, then what's going to happen is that they will just move through, because if you have gone up to their base, capped their flag, and then you just come straight back again, right? In the meantime, that's exactly what they'll have done. They'll have come down to our base and gone straight back again. And then what's happened? Well, you've just both scored, alright? They're both in sort of, and all you've done is trade flags. So that's why it's not a good thing to do that. You need to set up some kind of proper situation. It's another reason why, although it sounds incredibly simple, leaving a couple of guys behind to delay is really, really important, because then when you guys are actually coming back again, it gives you time to sort of evaluate where these guys are, so that hopefully by the time we get to about this way, sort of 2/3 back, even if they've capped our flag, they'll only have made it to sort of here, here or here, and at that point we can split our force to eliminate them. That's what's really important about that first tactic. Okay, so going on now to another one, which is a strong defense, which you call infiltrate. Now, the strong defense is, as we talked about there, what they may do to begin with. And the strong defense, you want to really set up very, very well around your base. You want to have people in the correct positions, some people around the flag, alright, and maybe a couple of scout people up ahead, just to kind of give eyes. And you really want to make sure that this area, your flag, is secure, alright? It wants to be a fortress. and you want to set up with C4 everything you can, C4, claymores, mines, the whole shebang all around this base. Nobody should be getting in here at all. It should be a kill zone. Whenever any enemy approaches, they should be taken out. They're coming up here, alright, you guys take them out, alright. If they come up here or here or here or wherever they come to, they should be eliminated immediately. Okay, so you kill them as they come in. Now you should have enough of a force that you can kind of completely control this area. This area here around your base, nobody should be able to enter whatsoever. It should be a death zone. People should be marked and taken out immediately as they approach. But then how does that help us? Because we can't capture the flag. Well, in this kind of situation, what you need to do is an infiltration, and you need to move very, very fast, alright? You can do this either with bikes or helicopter. So say we're going to take the bike up, then you're going to have a team of 2. You need one guy who's kind of your backup, and he's also your defender. You need one guy who's the driver, obviously. And either of those guys can pick up the flag. You can't pick up a flag on a vehicle, but you can pick up a flag by getting off and get back onto a vehicle, so you can do it like that. With our strong defence here, the idea is that nobody is going to be able to get in. So those 2 guys are going to be able to use a lot of lives to try again. And this is a tactic we used to use in Warzone Gulch when we ended up with a team, or trade-off based situation, a team that we knew were very, very good, and we knew that if they got that flag out, we were going to have a hell of a time getting it back. So we would set up a very strong defence. If you are playing against a team that you know are fast and capable, then setting up a strong defence is probably a good thing to do, because you don't want them to even have the opportunity to get that flag, because you know once they've got it, you're going to not be able to get it back, alright? And that's when you end up in a kind of horrible stalemate situation, which we'll talk about as well. So once you've set up this heavy defence, what you really want to do is send your fast team, okay? And again, the idea with the fast team, they shouldn't keep going the same way. They need to improvise and move around. So they may literally just go for the ballsy approach. So they might just go straight in, just hope for the best, try and cap that flag, drop a lot of smoke or whatever. They might go for a very quiet sort of infiltration. So they might move up very quickly to one position here, and then they might go much more quietly around the base. Maybe they're going to hope there's a vehicle there that they can appropriate when they get to the base, cap the flag, and then maybe they'll make a strong push back out. Another way to do it is going to be, again, similar to that. You move up fast to the first base, but then one guy goes off and he stealths around. This would really have to be sort of well planned. You'd need a good team to do this. He stealths around. Now the biker or whoever is going to come to a pickup point. Now you could pre-designate this if you were thinking about what you were doing, or you could just sort of play it by ear. But basically he's going to move to a kind of pre-designated point. The guy who caps the flag is going to be very near to that when he picks up. So he's going to cap that flag, and this is also something that we used to do when we were playing in Warzone Gulch as well. I'll explain that in a mo. But basically he caps the flag, he moves to his pickup, and then they come back to the base. I'm going to use a different colour for the pickup. So he's going to pick up, and then from this point, then he comes back to the base. All right, very, very fast like that. Now again, this is something that we used to do when we were playing, because very often what would happen, I would kind of move up to this position here. I would kind of get in, infiltrate the base through. I would have maybe 1 or 2 guys down here. Alright, and you could pick up and drop the flag as you wanted. So I would often go in, because I was heavy armoured, I could kind of take the damage. So there'd often be like a couple of guys in here. I would pick up the flag, I would bring it down to this point, drop the flag, and then one of my guys would pick it up and run back to the base. And that was a very kind of good tactic that we used to use for doing those sort of things. It doesn't work obviously quite the same in Battlefield, which is a shame, because it would be a lot more interesting if you could sort of do that. But anyway, now we're going to move on to the hold the line, okay? The holding the line is a slightly different tactic, but it's sort of very vaguely similar to this one. And holding the line, you may leave like one person back in the base just as a very last backup, alright? But with holding the line, you can do it 2 ways. You can either hold the middle ground, this section right here, alright? And again, think of this in Battlefield terms, alright? On most Battlefield maps, they are kind of, for capture the flag, they're fairly in a kind of, generic base situation. You kind of got forward and backward. The hold the line, what you're going to want to do is set up this middle death ground, alright? Nobody's getting in here. So your guys, maybe a sort of, actually let's just put them in the middle here. Okay, so your team are all throughout this base. And the idea is that from here, they will eliminate anything that's trying to cross this middle ground. Okay, so you set up a kill zone across the whole area of this map. And this may work on maps like Riverside, etc. It might not work on bigger maps like Nabandon or whatever. Now, again, this is a tactic that we used to use in the past. It works very well, and nothing gets through this area. As soon as an enemy comes down here, they would sort of move forward, and immediately they would get pounced upon and just eliminated from wherever they come. And that's really what you want to do. It's all about teamwork. It's all about speed. And then as with the other tactics, as with the kind of infiltration tactic, you've got a huge amount of force here, and all you're going to send is like one person. Just one person in, see if they can cap the flag, see if they can make it back. When they get back, maybe you peel off like 1 or 2 people to help that guy come and score, and that's all you do. So you just send in like bits and pieces at a time. So you'll just send in like one guy, and you just keep doing that. You just keep picking away at them, and then if it's not working, you can always change your tactic. You can always send in a small force of like 3 people, okay, and see if they can cap, and then maybe one of them will make it back to here, and then you still score. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do it with that one as well. So that tactic there, guys, that one is hold the line, and you can do that in different ways. Okay, you can hold the middle ground like I just showed, or you can hold a little bit closer. Alright, so you can surround their base, and you can really hold the line there. This one is a little bit more dangerous though, because it means that when you're closer to the base, there's a much greater chance that you might have one person slip by you. Alright, and the danger with that is that once that person has slipped by, they've got free reign to get back to the base. Alright, and it's a longer journey for you. That's the difficulty with it. If they slip past and you don't notice, by the time you have realised, they may be back at the base. Alright, now obviously the benefit though is still that we control this line here. Alright, so even if they do pick up the flag, they still are going to have to try and like break through on the way back again. So either way, you're in control. And again, it's nothing rocket science, it's literally just a case of being in control, dominating the round. And that's easier said than done, but it really does depend on your team and how you're playing. So those are some basic setups, and it's very simple. You either go with everyone kind of forward or back, and you just work it from there, and you sort of play it by ear. But there is another situation that needs to be talked about, and that is a stalemate. Now, the stalemate situation can arise when you have a kind of 2 evenly distributed people out here. So if you just have kind of people dotted around all over the place, and you're just kind of fighting or whatever, and nothing is really organised, which is what tends to happen a lot on Capture the Flag, and you just have a big melee, and there's maybe like some people up in the base here, and we've got some people up here, and no one is really fighting very well. It's just kind of utter chaos, and it's just a big shambles all over the place. This tends to be how most Battlefield games go down. There's not really any organisation, it's just a bloody mess all over the place with people just fighting left, right and centre, and nobody can really see what's going on, and nobody really knows what's happening. It's just all, that's what it looks like. That's what your average game of Capture the Flag on Battlefield looks like. Now, the difficulty with this is, what will happen is that while all that nonsense is happening, someone will just go ship, and they'll just, other way around, they'll go like this, and all of a sudden we've traded bases, and they have got our flag, and we've got theirs. Just imagine what I said in reverse there. Okay, so each side has got the other's flag. And now we're in a situation where neither can cap because they each have the flag. And then you're almost back to the same situation as if neither person had the flag, because you know, you have to decide how many people you're going to send forward. But this is a much more dangerous situation than no one having the flags, because the difficulty is, whilst they have their flag, if they secure our flag, then they cap. And this is a really dangerous situation to be in. It's so dangerous because the scoring is the worst part. As soon as they secure their flag, they cap. And that is a really horrific situation to be in. So what do we do in this situation? Well, what you need to do, you obviously will have played some gameplay already. So based off of that gameplay, you need to decide a course of action. Were they a very aggressive team? Did they send a lot of people out? I'm using the wrong colours again. Did they send a lot of people out? Did they send like a big force out to you earlier on in the game? Or did they play it slow? Did they send like 1 or 2 small people out and around the base to steal? So based off of whatever it was that they did to cap your flag in the first base should determine what course of action you take. If they sent a large force, you need to leave a large force in defence, because chances are what they will do is the same thing, because they're the kind of players who have the same mentality. So if they send a big force, they're going to send a big force probably to secure. So if they attacked in heavy, then you need to change your tactic to heavy defence. So in that situation, let's say they do that, we're going to set up a strong defence all around our base. Alright? The idea being that when they send that big force, we're going to have a battle, alright, and we're going to stop them from getting back to our base. In the meantime, whilst they're doing that, we will have sent a recon force, a small team of like maybe 1 or 2 people. We're not going to send a lot of people because we need that strength of defense over here, alright? So we're going to send a couple of guys, and they will only probably have then a couple of guys in their base. So we're going to have a small battle here, hopefully secure our flag and then cap, alright? The other way around is obviously if they kind of stealth our flag, alright, flag here, like here. If they stealth our flag with only 1 or 2 players, you just reverse it, alright? So chances are, again, they're going to go with the strong defense if they only sent a couple of people, because all their players are going to be over here straight away anyway. And similarly, we're going to leave just like a couple of people, 1 or 2 guys, your best players. What you want to do is leave your best players securing this, or the people that are best suited to do it. Maybe the squad that handles those kind of situations the best. Because remember, as soon as you lose that flag, they cap. So it's very, very important. And then send just simply the rest of your force up here, right? Just send them, have a big fight, maybe over a long period of time, and hopefully you'll cap the flag, all right, secure it, and then we'll secure. So that's 2 ways to do it. Again, really, really simple. What's really been talking about is some of the basic stuff, all right? There are some other subtleties that you can go with, but in order to do that, you're really going to have a focused team, a focused squad. One thing I haven't talked about is having a kind of more balanced attack, all right? And balanced attacks are difficult because it often leaves you more vulnerable to do a balanced attack. And what I mean by balanced attack is you leave like a sort of a medium force and attack with a medium force. The reason I don't prefer this is because I feel like it has more likelihood of failure. Although it seems like it's a more kind of reasonable balanced approach, it often doesn't work that way. So if you leave sort of say 4 people here, alright, let's say 4 people, maybe 1 or 2 guys in the middle, alright, and then maybe another 4 in attack. Now on approach, this seems like not a bad thing, because you think, hey, okay, we have a reasonable defense, alright, and we have a couple of guys out in the middle here who can kind of deal with a few things, and then we've got a pretty good attack size force. It is. However, here is the problem with this. If you have divvied up your team in this way, if they have a strong defense, alright, so let's say they've gone for a strong defense. These 4 guys are probably not going to be able to get through that defense. If they have sent a small small attacking force, chances are they may or may not get through this defense, alright? If they have a couple of guys on attack, right, because they've left a strong defense situation, then yeah, sure, maybe they won't get through because you have a kind of medium defense. However, what if they stealth through and your guys don't see them at all? Or what if they take out like a couple of guys and manage to just slip by the other guys? Well, at that point they're going to be on the way back. And then you're reliant on these 2 guys in the middle here who could be engaged in any kind of other sort of whatever. They could be sort of thinking, hey, maybe we'll go up here. You know, they might not be anywhere near, alright? Even if they are, what happens if these guys coming back are pretty good and they take those guys out? Well, then all you're going to be left with is a couple of guys up here who have probably been destroyed anyway. And at that point, that's where you lose the flag. Now, let's reverse that. Let's see how it worked the other way. We've still got our 4 guys here. And we still got our 2 guys in the middle, and we still got our 4 guys going for the attack. They've got a weak defense this time, but we have a stronger defense, okay? Well, sorry, they've sent a stronger force, all right? They've got a weak defense and a stronger attacking force. They've sent a stronger attacking force. They annihilate those guys in the middle on the way, and then they also destroy our attack because they're such a strong force. We cap our flag, right, because these guys up here are weak, all right? We just take them out. We're coming back with the flag, but all of a sudden we have this big force to deal with. We have a big force because they had such a strong force in the first place, and they're going to destroy us on the way back, and they still cap the flag. Alright, so that is why a sort of medium level defense doesn't really work. You either have to go small or nothing, and it works both ways because, you know, if we had a small defense, alright, and they had a big defense, alright, they had a big defense, we're going to send out people, they're going to send out a couple of guys back. So we send out our main force against their main force. We're going to have a big fight, but hopefully we're going to come off one way or the other. Even if we don't, if they take out our guys and come out on the way back, we're probably going to still have a few people here who can engage and take those guys out. So it all kind of balances up. But on the most part, the way I would say to play capture the flag is you want to kind of go all or nothing. You need to work out, do you go strong defense or strong attack? Don't do it half and half measures because it doesn't really work. If you want to stay in the middle ground, if you want to fight in the middle of the map, do so. But again, you need the strength of your force there because you need to create a sort of watertight barrier. You cannot allow for anything to kind of get through here if you're going to play that tactic. And it's all about that sweeping on the way back as well. Remember that. That's all about the thing on the way back as well. If you go with a large attacking force, fine, that's no problem, alright? Go with a large attacking force. But on your way back, make sure that you spread out, alright? Make sure that you spread out. Don't all go the same way. Because remember, if you don't spread out, if you all go like this, maybe 2 ways coming back, well, what happens if they've capped our flag and they come back this way? Alright, then you're going to end up in a stalemate situation, and remember, stalemate situations are unbelievably dangerous. So I hope this has been a little bit of a help just to kind of give you a sort of overview mindset of these things. The most important thing is to remember that these things are actually very, very simple. It's all about just a strong defense or a strong attack. And again, it's all about controlling the map, how you want to be, where you want to be, where do you want to distribute your forces, alright, how are you going to lay them down. It all depends slightly on maps as well, and I will go in with some Battlefield Live footage to show you, but I wanted to just give you an overview here of a few things that I think about, a few things I used to play. Obviously I can't break it down in all the details that we used to play in because it wouldn't make sense in terms of Battlefield, so this was just a kind of overview to give you some thoughts. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something out of this. Please let me know with your thoughts and comments, and I will have some more capture flag gameplay coming up, and I'll break it down and I'll try and include some of these discussions. I know already from playing some of the games that I played, I was telling my guys this and it was effective the way that we did things, so I'll be putting that into the gameplay and referencing this as part of that. Alright, see you guys next time for some more Battlefield 3.